these services have proven themselves over these past lean years. Things are getting better, and there's no reason they can't be made part of the permanent budget.
I'm going to address this pretty broad and then bring it back to this actual question. When it comes to social programs, I don't have a problem with them. I think the social programs provide a great deal to the people of Montana. They are what make us who we are and helping each other. And they give us a sense of community and belonging and the ability to be one with another. One of the things that Carolyn mentioned is the oil boom. We're going to have all this money. The last figure that I got a couple weeks ago was that the active number of wells being drilled in Montana was 4. The number that were actively being drilled in North Dakota was over 100 times that. There will be money there if we allow it. We have the ability to make money off of oil. Let's make the money. The more money we have coming in, the more money we can give to everybody else. The more money that we can use to pay to increase these programs and help people. One of the other things that was said was, we need to get some of that money over here on this side, because we shared when we had lumber. Why did lumber go away? Trees are still growing. I know that in Washington, where the majority of it is privatized, Weyerhaeuser is on a 25-year plan. They log the forest, they replant them, 25 years later they come back and log them again. Why did we stop logging? We can get that money back. We can put that money into social programs to help the elderly, to help the people that need assistance. We shouldn't be nickel and diming to try to pay for these. There should be plenty of money. So I think what we need to do is stop fighting the let's tax everybody and stuff. If the tax rates work, get more money at that tax rate. If you take 10% from $1, you can make a whole lot more money instead of raising it 3% if you just get $2 instead. Thank you.
I would support making this a permanent funding. It's hard to run a business or anything else without having funding in place to fund services. And by having one-time only services, the service providers cannot fully plan to implement their services in the following year. It's ridiculous to expect them to depend on money that they aren't guaranteed to provide services. Montana's population is aging, as we just talked about, and it's projected that by 2025, we will be the state with the 5th highest population of people over 65 years old. By 2013, one out of every 4 Americans will be, one out of every 4 Montanans will be 65 years or older. That means starting now for the next 15 to 20 years, the percentage of Montanans that are 65 or older will increase every year by the size of about the town of Havre. So when you're looking at increases in population, we need to plan for this population increase. We have the information, it's not a surprise. We need to plan on how to provide for services for this population. The money in our state budget comes from Montanans, and it should be spent on Montanans providing services they need.
We got these questions in advance, and I wrote on the margin of this question, 6 years of one time only, question mark, exclamation point. This seems like deja vu all over again. I've heard this before. The first time I ever met Susan Kohler was when she explained in 2008 that they were working on one time only money. There's really only 2 reasons why you should ever use one-time only appropriations. One reason is that the revenue is going to disappear. You only have the revenue for a short period of time. $3 million. That's nothing in the state's budget. $3 million will always be there to support these services. There's no reason to worry about, oh my gosh, we're not going to have $3 million to support that. The other reason for having one time only is because the need's going to disappear. This is something we're only going to need to do for 2 years or for 1 year or for whatever. Well, that's not going to happen here. As you've all heard, the population is getting older, not getting younger. the need for these services is not going to go down, it's going to go up. So there's absolutely no justification for making this one time only. Of course it should be regular. And $3 million is really nothing. It should be more than $3 million.
I can definitely see that this is an area that we should get together by bipartisan nature and work on, because, yeah, it is a relatively small amount and it could be larger. And any agency you got set up, you need to have some predictability. But on the other side of the coin, people that live and work here in Montana also need predictability from the government about how much it's going to cost to live here. One of the reasons why our senior population is growing so much more rapidly is because a lot of people my age are leaving the state. We are 47th per capita income in the country. That is embarrassing. That's why our daughters and sons and people my age leave the state and we go work elsewhere. That's lost revenue for the state. We need to make sure that we keep our businesses here, and we got to quit turning away businesses, especially in Missoula County. There were 5 meat packing plants that were planning to come in here, open up shop, and process beef that's made right here in Montana, but they were turned away by high taxes. We need to change that as well. Another way that taxes affect everybody, especially seniors, are property taxes. Every time your property tax goes up, what does that do to you if you're on a fixed income? What if gas prices go up? That causes the price of foods and other services to go up. How do you handle that when you're on a fixed income? We need to provide predictability not only for the aging population, disability populations that we should and need to take care of, but we also need to provide predictability for everybody in the state. Because if we can't, people my age, if I can't possibly go out there and predict how much it's going to cost me to open up a business, I'm not going to open up a business. I'm not going to risk everything I have to do and throw all my resources in opening up a business just to get taxed out of it the next session or the next year. So we need to rein in their government. We need to make it more efficient. There's a lot of overlapping programs out there that we should look at combining to take a lot more of the bureaucrats out of it and make sure more of that money that goes towards all these services get to the people that need the help and not some bureaucrat that's running the program.
I think this is a very practical matter in terms of responsible government. And it's a given. Elections are about choices. And here we see a rather distinct difference between Democrats and Republicans, quite frankly. Based on what we heard in our introductions in the first question, I think our Republican friends have a good heart. They get the benefit of the doubt that they're not cold-hearted people. But they have a philosophy in government that's called starve the beast. That is, keep government so small and keep the income into government so limited that we can't afford to provide these services. We have enough money. And I think the difference here is that Democrats are willing to spend that money on services such as this. My granddaddy used to say that getting old is not so bad if you consider the alternative. And everyone is going to get older. This is not going away. Good government says that this should be a permanent item in the budget.
Turn it off for me. You know, I have to say, I served in the state senate years ago, and I happened to room my first session with the Butte delegation, being a Republican, and of course they were all Democrats. I will say this, that it is easy if you keep an open mind and listen. Now, I can put my arm on Doug here, yet we disagree, we're 180 degrees off. I am not here to make you clap every time I say something. I am here to make you look at things realistically. Our government is broke. Montana, it's fiat money. I happen to be a history buff and economic and political news junkie. I follow the stuff. I have not watched television in 4 years. I get all kinds of information on the internet. We are in bad, bad trouble. We are doing exactly the same thing that Rome did. Exactly. Nixon was stupid when he took us off the gold standard. We are spending money that we don't have. Ladies and gentlemen, we can sit here and tell you everything that you would like to hear, but you better be realistic. There is not money in the state government. We have $400,000. If that is spent on something real quick, and we have all the other things to raise money for, it's going to be taxed on everybody. There is no free lunch. We do want to be compassionate, but we do have to be practical. I have started businesses, I have built businesses, I've done a lot of things, and you don't do it just on a whim. Please, look at the situation the way it is. We want to help. It is not all going away, but it is not going to be the panacea that you think. I hope that everybody can get along, and even the Democrats and Republicans.
I have to disagree, I guess, but I really do think it's important for people to stay in their homes. I think that's critical. I think that we can afford to help keep people stay in their homes by helping other people have jobs to help those people stay in their homes. And together we can make this community. And I think community is the definition of that maybe we're forgetting. We need to take care of each other. That's what it's all about. So I know that my mother is 84 and she is still driving, and she should not be driving. I promise you, she should not be driving. So if there was an alternative for her that could help her get places, I would be ever so grateful. So I know that there's a lot of people out there that drive that shouldn't be driving, but drive out of desperation, and even though they know they shouldn't be driving. So let's fund this amount. Let's give people a chance to do a good job with this money instead of last minute shoving things as quick as they can together that could have been planned for and done better. So let's just do a better job with our funding and also help each other. Thank you.
We have come to the 5:30 mark, and I think one of the more important parts of these forums is the ability for the candidates to mingle with the audience and to talk directly to their constituents. So we're going to cut off the formal part of this forum right now and continue on until 6 o'clock noon. I want to thank, on behalf of the organization, the Alliance, the candidates who took the time to come and talk to you today. I think it's we heard some disagreement about the approach, but I think everyone is someone who cares about this community and will do their best in the legislature to serve their interests and the best interests of all of us in the state. It's up to you in the voting booth, of course, but I encourage you now to talk with the candidates. And again, my thanks for your attendance and for the candidates to come. Thank you very much.